Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I have finally, I don't know if it's a tutorial, it's more like a get ready with me. And so I know over the past couple of months I've had quite a few of you request just me going back to tutorials, even though I haven't done them too often even in the past, but I would throw one in here and there. And then just with all the holiday chaos as far as makeup releases go, my goal had been to put out reviews for you so that if you were interested in a product, you'd have my opinion on whether I liked it or not. So now I'm going back to doing get ready with me's and tutorials here and there. So this is a get ready with me using the new Tartelette Toasted palette by Tarte Cosmetics, and so I love these types of shades and wanted to play around with it. So kind of incorporated a look using this, using Copper Sparkle Pigment by MAC. This is for you guys. Thank you so much for requesting different things. I really appreciate you. And if you do have a particular, let's say, palette, I guess, that you're wanting to see a get ready with me or tutorial on, maybe it's a holiday release of some sort, just let me know. I'd be more than happy to do that for you. Okay guys, let's get started with this get ready with me. Okay, so we are going to start with Fenty Foundation. I am shade 190 for reference, and I am using the Fenty Bear Claw brush. I find that this brush is really amazing for smoothing foundation on the skin and giving you a really flawless look. As you can tell, I'm speeding through a lot of this. I don't think I need to go in regular speed for it. You get the gist of it, just putting on the foundation. Okay, next we're going to go in with brows, nothing super exciting. I am using the Ka-Brow by Benefit, and I am in shade number 5. Just using a little spoolie to brush those out before I start applying the product. I really love this product because it has the brush with it. Okay, next we're going to bronze and contour using one of the Fenty Beauty Matchsticks. This is in the shade Amber. And I really love how soft and creamy these are, and for me this was the perfect shade. It did come in a bundle for, I think it's light. When I rubbed it on my hand, the reason I did that was because if you don't first warm it up with your, you know, on an area like your hand on some skin, then it just is really tough and will pull off your foundation. So you want to warm it up first. Once you do, it goes on so smoothly and is so blendable. Here I'm using my Tarte, kind of, I guess it's like a contour brush. I love it because it's so dense and full and it blends cream products out so nicely. Next, we are going to go ahead and prime the lids using the Maybelline Master Prime eyeshadow primer. I love this primer because it's a really good alternative, drugstore alternative. I find that it keeps my shadow on without creasing and pigmented all day long. Next, going in with the Tartelette Sad Day. I was so excited to show it to you and I had it upside down. So we're going in with the Tartelette Toasted eyeshadow palette. This is their newest eyeshadow palette. And we are going to start in with the shade Cashmere. And this is going to be the crease color, or the transition shade. And you're just going to blend it into your crease. Okay, next we're going to deepen up that crease using the shade Warmth. Just grab a different blending brush so that you can pack that color into the crease, adding a little bit of depth. And then you're going to smoke out the outer portion of the lid using the shade Fireside, which is the darkest shade in the palette. It is a matte shade and is really great for smoking out looks from this, in using this palette. So I first applied it in the outer portion of the crease, and then what I did is just kind of did a V right there on the outer portion of the lid so that it looked smoky. The next thing I'm going to do is take my Tarte Shape Tape. I have it in the shade Light. I am actually more light medium, but trying to use this one up, and I'm going to carve out a portion of my lid because I do find that when I do this step, certain shades tend to stand out and look better. It takes an extra few minutes, but it's definitely worth it. Now the reason I also dipped the tip onto the brush was because you want some product on your brush in order to get a more precise line so that the concealer doesn't go on sloppy. Okay, now grabbing a flat shader brush. This one's a little more dense than I'd like, but it's what I had that was pretty clean. You're going to grab the shade Flame, which is that more metallic copper shade in the palette, and you are going to pack that on the lid over top of the concealer. Now the reason I didn't wet my brush, because you know I love to intensify my shadow, is because we are going to add something over top of this eyeshadow. Okay, we're going to go in with MAC Copper Sparkle Pigment. This is very, very similar to that Flame shade that we just applied to the lid, but we're actually going to add this to add more intensity and more sparkle, especially for those fall/winter and holiday looks. This just adds so much more. It takes it to the next level. So grab some pigment out of the jar, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to pack it onto the brush using the lid of that jar, because if you don't, then the pigment is just very loose and you'll get a lot of fallout on your face, especially if you've done your foundation before you do your eyes. Of course, I'm spraying my brush because this intensifies the pigment, and then I'm going to pack this onto my lid. So as you're packing it on, or as I'm packing it on, I am just being sure to place it over top of that concealer, not being sloppy, just staying within the lines of that concealer. Next, I am going in with the shade Candle. It's kind of a shimmery shade. I'm going in with a concealer brush. It's by Wet n Wild. It's one of my favorites. I am going to wet this as well because it, again, intensifies the shade or the color, and I'm going to place this on the inner corner. Okay, grabbing a blending brush, I'm going to go in again with that shade Fireside, because now that I've packed that copper sparkle on top, now I want to avoid any harsh lines and kind of make the two blend a little more effortlessly. And so you just grab a little Fireside and blend it into that copper sparkle. I'm going back in with that Warmth shade just to kind of make my transition shade peek through a little bit more, and then grabbing a liner brush and going back in with the shade Fireside, I'm going to line the lower lash line. Okay, going back in with the shade Warmth, I am going to take that also on a liner brush and line the inner portion of my lower lash line, kind of smudging it into that Fireside shade. I'm going to take this is also kind of a flat shader brush. It's by Sigma. I'm going to grab the shade S'more, which is that matte brow bone highlight, and I am going to pack that on or place that right under my brows. Okay, I am going to line. I'm not going to include this in the video. I just wanted to show you what I'm using. I am using the Fenty Beauty liner, part of the holiday collection. It's in the shade Alien Bay. The reason I didn't include it is because I'm used to using a slanted brush to do my wing, and I didn't, so I knew it would take me a long time. I'm just going to go in with some mascara, not too much because we will do false lashes. Okay, going in with another Fenty Beauty Matchstick. This is in the shade Starstruck, and it's the highlight shade that came in that same bundle that I told you about earlier. It came with a highlight, a contour/bronze, and a concealer type stick. Again, I'm warming it up on my skin before I place it on my face and pull all my foundation off. It goes on so much easier this way. Then I'm going to grab what I rubbed off on my hand and I'm going to use it to blend out what's on my face because a brush will just be too rough and my fingers seem to blend it out easier. This is just applying false lashes, nothing too exciting. And then moving on to blush. I'm going to use the Beauty and the Beast blush slash face palette by Lorac. And I'm taking a long time, I think, to decide what I want to use, but I'm going to go in with the shade See Beyond. It is probably the mid-tone pink of this palette. I love this palette. And then for highlight, I'm actually going to use one of the face powders from the new MAC Snowball Holiday 2017 collection. It's called Here Comes Joy, and it's more of the, I don't want to say rose gold, but kind of. It's kind of the more mauve rose gold shade. Happy Go Dazzlingly is actually the gold. This is the one I mentioned in my haul. Is these two face powders are a little more subtle. They're not the pop of highlight that I really like. However, because I use that Starburst shade as my base, it will make this one pop a little bit better. And so I'm just going to go in with my Anastasia A23, which is my favorite highlighting brush of all time. Take a little down my nose because I can never resist, and I'm actually going to even put some on my forehead because it's that subtle. Next I'm going in with my lipstick. This is by MAC and it is since sold out, so I'm very sorry. It's from the Selena collection and it is a matte and it's in the shade Dreaming of You. It's more of a deep red, and because we are going for a fall look with this eyeshadow, we are going to go ahead and go with a fall type lipstick. And the reason it's not as pigmented is because I have the Clarins Comfort Lip Oil on underneath. But that is the finished product. That's the final look, and this is what it looks like. Super up close and personal. Guys, I hope you found this Get Ready with me to be helpful. I try to keep them as simple as possible. I don't really get into complex stuff because I find that simple works best for me, especially when I'm on the go. There's certain things that I do like to incorporate into my looks, like for example, the whole cut crease using concealer. I learned that off of YouTube and I love how it ends up making the look. So those kinds of things are perfect. They're not complicated. If it's not complicated, I'll incorporate it. If it's complicated, I just a lot of times don't have the time. So I hope you found this to be simple and easy. Again, as other people have said in their tutorials, Get Ready With Me's, you don't have to use the products that I'm using. As long as you've got something similar, who cares what it is? You can achieve a very similar, if not exact look using other things. I would, however, recommend getting Copper Sparkle by MAC if that's something you're interested in. It's a beautiful pigment. I love it every time I use it, and it makes any look just pop. That thing is so good. MAC pigments are usually incredible. Anyways, this palette, really liking it. I've told y'all before, when doing a review, I don't usually take a whole lot of note as to how much kickback or kick up there is because I'm very gentle with my shadows. I actually noticed a lot on this one and I'm very gentle. For me, that's not a deal breaker. I still love the palette, but for those of you who, you know, if it irritates you a lot to have a lot of kick up, then this has a lot of kick up, so just take note. Guys, before I let you go, I need to give you the verse of the day. Today's comes from James 1:4-5, and it says, "Perseverance must finish its work so that you may be mature and complete, not lacking anything." Guys, I hope you've enjoyed this Get Ready With Me. Again, if you have a certain palette that you're wanting to for me to do a look with, just comment below and I'd be more than happy to take a look at that for you so that I can create something so that we can get ready together. Okay guys, see you soon. Until next time, bye.